Hello, and thank you for joining us. This is No Soundbites Allowed, and I am your host, Michael Voss, and I'm happy to be here with you today. It's June 1st, about 4:15. I got to talk about the news that's out there. It's breaking news, two different items, and I think it's important to show us the direction of America, to show us the bias of the news media, to really pinpoint what is happening in our nation right now. And so I just wanted to rush on to talk about this really quick. But before I get started, if this is the first time you're seeing our channel, we want to welcome you and thank you for being part of our audience. We want you to know that every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do a live stream with you. We reach out on all the social media that the internet overlords will allow to hear what you have to say from anywhere in the world, because we believe in the First Amendment. We believe in your right to speak about the issues that affect us all. We hope you'll join us this Sunday at 2:30 p.m. So let me get into this. Today we had two pieces of breaking news and this will affect the 2024 election to some degree. It's affecting the way the world is looking at America, and it's directly affecting the confidence we have not only in our government, but in our news media and elections. So let me explain what I'm talking about real quick. So the first thing is the breaking news about Joe Biden. He's at the Air Force Academy. He's doing the graduation ceremony. Nothing new about that. Presidents do that all the time. But here's the thing, and this is coming from Forbes. What do we see? So Joe Biden, he's walking around. He's talking. He's holding on to one of the airmen. He's having his little conversation there. And then, boom. Did you notice that? Did you notice what just happened? I love this part. Did you see that? This is a 3-star general. He jumps on up. He's like, what just happened? What's going on? I wish I could read lips better to see everything else that he has to say about this here. He just tripped. And there you go. You get to see Biden being lifted up by the Secret Service like something happened. Secret Service are all around him. I mean, I understand that's your job, but they're rushing over to him like, you've got the two agents, another agent coming over here. This guy's concerned. You got the Secret Service agents all looking around like, what happened? Something must have happened, because he just fell over. Joe Biden, he just fell out of nowhere. There's nothing on the ground. There's nothing there. There's nothing for him to trip on. He just fell over. Let's go on. Then they walk him over gingerly, and he immediately goes to sit down, which maybe he was going to do that anyway. I don't know. And then everyone else stands up.
Thank you for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, the President will be departing immediately following the Air Force and Space Force songs.
So we know Joe Biden is immediately leaving the scene. He's immediately going to be ushered out of here. Now, it could be that Joe Biden was going to be leaving immediately after they played some music. Maybe that was it. He has a schedule. He's the president. Maybe he was going to immediately leave. But it just seems so much more impactful to hear them say, oh yeah, and Joe Biden's going to leave. As soon as we play this song, he's going to get out of here. He's leaving immediately. A friend of mine, Blaine Pardo, he had a comment here. Gravity 1, Joe Biden 0. Look at this kid. He's so excited, and I feel bad for him. I feel bad for that kid who just graduated, and he had a moment with Joe Biden, the leader of the United States, and the only thing everyone is going to remember is that Joe Biden, behind his back, just fell down. He just fell over. He just dropped like a rock. It's the only thing that everyone's going to remember. Not the kid, not his moment with the President of the United States. No, they're going to remember Joe Biden just fell over. I'm sure the news media is going to say there was a strong wind. There was a breeze. You just didn't notice it. It just tripped him over. He tripped on that millimeter thin material. Do you see the black material there? See how thin that is? Well, he tripped on that. That's what caused him to trip. They're going to fall all over themselves to try and find some way to justify that Biden just fell over. Just fell over. And Blaine, you're right. Gravity, it's actually gravity 3, Joe Biden 0. We've seen him fall upstairs. We've seen him fall downstairs. And now we're seeing him trip and fall on a flat surface. This is insane. And I have to ask you, what do you think the rest of the world is thinking about this? When the Ayatollah in Iran, a man who is willing to kill schoolgirls because they dare to read, when he sees Joe Biden just falling over on a flat surface for no reason, do you think he says, gee, America's really strong right now? Do you think Kim Jong-un in North Korea is saying, I can't fire off any missiles because that really strong leadership, that really strong figure of America, Joe Biden, just fell over, not even with a strong breeze? Is Chairman Xi in China looking at this going, I can't go into Taiwan because Joe Biden, he's such an image of strength. He's such a powerful figure. I am intimidated by him. Are we hearing Russia's Putin, Vladimir Putin? Is he saying, I have to worry about Ukraine and America's influence because Joe Biden is rallying people. He's so strong in his rallying of the rest of the world as he falls up and down stairs and falls over on a flat surface. The implications are bigger than just this moment. It's not just that Joe Biden fell over for no reason. It's that Joe Biden, along with all the other gaffes that he has made, portrays himself as weak, which makes America look weak. That's a big deal. That's really important. And it's really sad. It's really, really sad. But okay, that's funny. It looks stupid. And remember, Joe Biden is got what, 59%? He's polling at about 59% amongst Democrats to be reelected. They are looking to reelect him, this image of strength. Okay, that really says something about Marianne Williamson. It says a hell of a lot about RFK Jr. It says a lot about the Democratic Party. But here's the thing. We know the news media is going to turn around and they're going to use this to try and say, no, you're just being a MAGA Republican. You're just into the whole make America great thing. You just are laughing at this old man who is bumbling and stumbling and falling and embarrassing the United States to an extent, and you're just going to use that. It's bad. You're the bad guy. You're the bad guy for noticing that Joe Biden needs help, that he's not a healthy man. And they're going to say that, and they're also going to tell you about the other thing that happened today, the other piece of breaking news, which has to do with Ron DeSantis. Now, I'm going to MSNBC, and the rest of what they have to say really isn't important. This is exactly what happened. I want you to see this, okay?
Questions.
Governor, how come you're not taking questions from voters?
Stop coming up to me, talk to me. What are you talking about? I'm not here working with people. Are you blind?
What?
Are you blind?
I'm not blind.
Okay, so people are coming up to me, talking to me, whatever they want to talk to me about.
Okay, so Ron DeSantis is in a room surrounded by his supporters. He is talking to these people. They're coming up. They're taking pictures with him. They're shaking his hand. They're having conversation with him, asking a question or two. And he's going through the room, a room full of people. There is a reporter who is not getting questions answered. The reporter isn't able to speak to Ron DeSantis because Ron DeSantis is paying attention to his supporters. He's paying attention to the public and the questions the public has. And because because the news media isn't getting an answer, well, that means he's not taking questions, even though they're watching him take answers. And now we see, Ron DeSantis says, and you can say he snapped. He said, are you blind? Well, yeah. Because Obviously, the question is wrong. But why did they say that? Why is the news media saying that about Ron DeSantis? The reason why they're saying it is so that they can have these articles like you see right now. Matter of fact, I'm going to refresh it. It's 4:30. I'm refreshing it. Ron DeSantis snaps at a reporter, "Are you blind?" Well, not really. He's responding to him. The reporter made a stupid question. He got an answer back fitting the question he asked. Ron DeSantis loses his temper. Did that look like he lost his temper? Or did it look like he was responding to a dumb question and he was treating it with the amount of respect it deserved? Did he lose his temper? "Are you blind?" As if he was screaming and angry and mad. Okay, where's some of the others? There was a couple of other ones I saw. Here's another one from USA Today. I like this one. "Are you blind? Ron DeSantis chews out a reporter over taking questions." Are we serious? He didn't chew him out. He put him in his place. He actually wanted to see some accurate reporting. How dare you say that? But see how they're twisting this. This is meant to try. All they were looking for is to say that DeSantis wasn't answering questions. That was the whole point of it. Let's see if we can see what they're saying. The Florida governor, who has frequently clashed with the press, was asked about taking questions from voters on a presidential campaign trail. No, he really wasn't. He was being asked questions by the public. He wasn't answering the news media. See how they're changing the message? They're trying to shape the way. They're trying to make him seem like a bad person, like he did something wrong. Governor DeSantis of Florida was mingling with voters. He wasn't mingling with voters. He was taking their questions. He was talking with people. He was taking pictures with people, in particular supporters. So he wasn't mingling. He wasn't just walking around a room and being ignored or just, there was something else happening. It was his event. He wasn't mingling, but okay. After his first campaign stop in New Hampshire as a presidential candidate, when a reporter asked him a question, "Governor, how come you're not taking questions from voters?" But we just saw the video. See how it sounds? So you've got Ron DeSantis is just standing around in New Hampshire, and a reporter comes up and says, "Well, why aren't you actually taking questions?" Because the way that they are framing it in the written reporting gives you a different message. Oh, he's mingling. So he's just kind of standing over in a corner. He's talking to one or two people. There's a whole event going on, and he's not talking to all the people in the event. That's what they want you to think. That is what the first paragraph from the New York Times is trying to put in your mind as a mental image. And the reality, as we can see from the video, is exactly opposite. He's not mingling in some corner. He is completely surrounded by people who are walking up, asking him questions, taking pictures, and that he is interacting with. He is in the middle of conversations, not mingling. There's a difference. And so the reporter asks him a stupid question, a question that has no context, that doesn't make any sense. And then they say, "Well, Mr. DeSantis sharply disputed the premise of the reporter's question." Yes, because he should. And again, they're framing it as, "How dare you dispute this? How could there be any other way of defining this? How dare Ron DeSantis not take this seriously and not really think about why he isn't answering questions?" He's directly taking questions. Do you notice? So we can see in the way that they have framed this from the New York Times, a left-leaning news media source, they're trying to make it seem like, oh, see, he's dodging voters. The New York Times wants its readers, mostly left-leaning individuals, to get the impression that Ron DeSantis is somehow dodging them, that he doesn't want to answer questions, that he doesn't have answers for voters on why they should pick him for 2024 or why he should be president. This is what they're trying to put out there. That's the message. This is the headline, and the first two paragraphs here are what is going to be sent out across the media when you see this. Like when you go to Google, this is the message you're going to be getting in these abbreviated captions. So we saw NBC. What's the NBC say? Florida Governor Ron DeSantis lashes out at a reporter. He wasn't lashing at him. He was terse, I give you that, but he wasn't lashing at him. Barking. Are you blind? Twice. At the end of his verse. Do you notice how they're trying to make Ron DeSantis seem like some evil, mean, vicious person? How dare you ask such a simple question? This is what they're trying to make it out to. They're trying to emotionally manipulate you. Again, we just saw the video. This is the actual video coverage of this. So we know for a fact that the written message that NBC is putting out there is wrong. It's a lie. They're exaggerating. They're trying to cover up for the reporter, and they're trying to negatively reflect Ron DeSantis. They're trying to manipulate you. And they're assuming that you're not going to see the video. Let's go over here to the USA Today. Okay, USA Today. Are you blind? Ron DeSantis chews out a reporter. No, he really didn't. Overtaking questions. Okay, let's see what he has to say. Let's see what they say. Ron DeSantis made another rite of passage as a Republican candidate Thursday. A confrontation with the reporter. See how they have now linked Ron DeSantis and all Republicans. They have a problem with the news media. They have a problem with reporters doing their job. They have a problem with disseminating information to the public. This is very well worded to put out a message. It's a manipulation, and they're manipulating you for a political agenda, because that's not what happened. The confrontation only came about because of the initiation. The reporter initiated a confrontation. Ron DeSantis is answering questions and talking with voters and presumably his supporters, and the media has a problem, and they are attacking Ron DeSantis, not the other way around. Let's go on. What are you talking about? Are you blind? Are you blind? Ron DeSantis barked at the Associated Press reporter who asked the candidate why he didn't take questions from the crowd. Notice how they put this. There's a crowd and Ron DeSantis isn't taking questions, which is a lie. He is taking questions. Again, we saw the video, but the words in the newspaper and the articles that are going to be disseminated around the world and across America is misrepresenting the actual facts. If we didn't have the video, you would think that Ron DeSantis was trying to hide from people, that he was trying to avoid questions, that he was dodging voters. That's the message they're trying to put out. Has nothing to do with reality. DeSantis, who is on a tour of early delegate contested states, indicated that he preferred to mingle after speeches. People are coming up to him. Mingle after speeches. He's actually involved with the public. He's actually talking to voters. People are coming up to me, talking to me, whatever they want to talk to me about, which is accurate. They are. He did say that. Okay. From Richard Nixon to Donald Trump, Republican candidates have a storied history of arguing with reporters. It doesn't seem to hurt them much with conservative voters who have long been suspicious of mainstream media. Why would we be suspicious of mainstream media when we get to see the actual events? We now have video evidence. Thank God for alternative media. Thank God for people with cell phones. We can actually see what the news media is doing. And they're manipulating it. No wonder people from Richard Nixon to Donald Trump, well, wait a minute, Obama didn't have a great relationship with all the news media. Neither did Bill Clinton. What is the definition of is? How about President Carter? You left him out. So they're very specific about who has a problem with the news media and when, and more importantly, why. How about how many times Joe Biden has just walked off of a stage where we have reporters left and right are asking him over and over again for a response, and he just walks off in whatever direction and doesn't give any kind of answer whatsoever. Isn't that contentious? Isn't that a problem with the media? Oh, no, but that's okay. That's not important to think about when they're trying to frame a message. Really, this is insulting, folks, and this is why I had to react to this. This is crazy. The news media knows they are misrepresenting facts. It's like when Joe Biden falls up the flight of stairs going into Air Force One, and as he stumbles, the news media goes, well, it's because of the wind. And then he stumbles on stairs going down in the G20 meeting, and he's stumbling downstairs in Japan. And, well, that's just, the ground was uneven. And then he falls over in the middle of a crowd for no reason. It just happens. He tripped. No big deal. There's nothing for him to trip over. He tripped over his own feet. He tripped over gravity. Because they want a certain type of message. They want you to vote a certain way. They have an agenda. And it cannot get any more clear and any more obvious than what we have just seen between these two things. Joe Biden obviously and factually and consistently has a problem. And that indicates, if nothing else, that he is potentially weak and damaged goods. But he's a Democrat and he's in office, so they have to prop him up. And they do that by distracting, by trying to say that Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump or Vivek Ramaswamy or Nikki Haley or Tim Scott, that they're some kind of evil demons that you have to be fearful of, and that they are somehow trying to misrepresent themselves. They're somehow trying to manipulate you by actually answering your questions for being involved with the public and not the news media. You tell me. Let's look at let's look at these two things one more time, all right? That's the image of strength that they want you to believe in. That's the image of strength that they want you to support. And don't you dare ask if Joe Biden is healthy and capable of doing the job. And in the meantime, they also want you to look at anybody who doesn't fall in line, who isn't part of the mainstream corporate media, anyone who actually pays attention to the public, well, they're the bad guys, like here.
Governor, how come you're not taking questions from voters?
Stop coming up to me, talk to me. What are you talking about? I'm not here working with people. Are you blind?
What?
Are you blind?
I'm not blind.
Okay, so people are coming up to me, talking to me, whatever they want to talk to me about.
Yeah. That kind of says it all right there. But maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I misunderstand. You know what? I'm looking forward to hear what you have to say. Do you think Ron DeSantis was out of line? Do you think the news media, Associated Press, MSNBC, the New York Times, USA Today, do you think they are out of line? Do you think Joe Biden looks strong around the world? Do you feel confident in the health and capabilities of Joe Biden as you watch him fall over and over and over again? You tell me, because I tell you what, the news media has already made up their mind, and they're going to try and make sure you're manipulated to agree with them. It's really sad. We need to call that out more often. Thank you for taking time to be here with us today, and I hope that you'll join us every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when we talk more about this and all the issues that are affecting us all across the world. This is No Soundbites Allowed, and I am your host, Michael Voss, Dragon of the Southern Tier. I'm happy to be here with you today. Eric Holder, the Attorney General of the United States, admitted he has not read the Arizona immigration law. Let's think about that for a moment.
I know it is a difficult task to stand up in front of our peers and say to Congress and say that Congress has failed to listen to voters.
You here at CPAC said yes to President Donald Trump in 2016, and I know you're going to say yes to 4.
She was very aware that she had the flag in her hands and that the flag was dragging on the ground. That is a intentional action. She knows what she is doing. She then drops the flag. Understand the logic, and we see this in social media on a regular basis, and it's something that Newsweek decided not to tell you about.
I held an AR-15 in my hand. I wish I had it. It is as heavy as 10 boxes that you might be moving. And the bullet that is utilized, a 50 caliber, these kinds of bullets, need to be licensed and do not need to be on the street.
That's right. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, a representative in Congress who is writing laws to deny American citizens their rights, has no idea what she's talking about.
And they are against the vaccine mandate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you support that?
We shouldn't have any problem in meeting that error rate, because last time I checked, there were not a lot of planes crashing into each other at airports, right? You can meet a very, very stringent accuracy rate when it's important, when it matters, like in federal elections.
No one wants to point out the quote from Joe Biden where he is admitting that he is willing to lie to the American people.